How y'all?
I'm doing good.
Mhm.
Hello, how are you?
Wait, this is not wrestling, we do not.
Hopefully more of them will come. Put the word out.
Well, it's early yet.
Let me take a picture.
We do what we got.
We've got
That's
all
right.
this. Come here, let me use that part.
Right, they had it here. I thought they said it over there.
Well,
We'll take what we get.
it's part of
Yeah, I mean, it picks up pretty well. Okay. Okay, awesome, thanks.
Good to see you, Madam Clerk. How are you? Good to see you.
That was really cute.
Trying to be like you one day.
Oh.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Glad that you all are here. We have with us tonight Pastor Matt Cohn with Waterstone Church. I'd invite you up now to lead us in the invocation and pledge. Everybody, please rise.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's pray. Father, we come before you now and just thank you for all who are here tonight. We thank you for this meeting and for all the work that has gone into it as well. We know that we have plans in our hearts that we would love to see happen, but we ultimately know that you are the one who establishes our steps. So would you please establish our steps and establish the steps for the city of Smyrna tonight according to your will. Also, just want to acknowledge that everybody here is a human being, is a person, is somebody who, while playing a role tonight, either in service to the community or as a citizen of the city as well, has a life outside of here and is experiencing things in our personal lives right now that we're either celebrating or we are grieving over. And Father, if we are celebrating, then I pray that you would surround us with people that we can rejoice with. And if we are grieving, then I also pray that you would surround us with people that we can grieve with and weep with as well. And Father, it would be remiss not to just acknowledge the fact that this is Holy Week. We thank you for the life and death and ultimately the resurrection that we get to celebrate of your Son, Jesus Christ, this Sunday. We pray all this in his name. Amen. Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation after God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor, for being with us. Appreciate you being here. We don't have any agenda changes tonight. Got a couple items under mayoral report and proclamations. The first is recognizing 2024 Georgia Kids and Girls State Championship for folk style wrestling, and we have Coach Sal De La Rosa here. We've got some champions with us today, and pretty awesome that they're here. Coach, come on up and tell us about the program and about their accomplishments and who we have with us tonight.
Talking to the mic or just do I project? Talking to the mic. Oh, I've got a live voice. Okay.
Bring them up with you.
All right, come on up, guys. Can I turn this way, that way? I don't know what to do. This way?
just like
Okay,
this,
perfect.
yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm joined here. Come over here. Come. Stand this way. Stand this way. Stand this way. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. All right. Good evening. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm joined here with Coach Rudy. My name is Salvador De La Rosa. I'm the youth head coach for the Spartans Wrestling Club. Coach Rudy here is the high school coach. We've created the wrestling club as a feeder program to the high school to try to provide Coach Rudy wrestle-ready athletes by the time they hit high school. So we saw a need in the community because the kids were coming to him as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, with zero experience in wrestling. So we saw the need to build this from the youth stage so that he can progress them in the high school stage instead of going over and over the basics every year. So we got together, we created the wrestling club here in Smyrna underneath Coach Rudy and the Booster Club here in Campbell High School. It's hard to compete with baseball and soccer because that lives king here in this town, in the city. However, we don't compete with those two sports. So it was kind of easy, but kind of hard to convince the parents to say, hey, try this other sport, right? We're a winter sport, and we had some really good participation. Our first year, we had about 22 wrestlers that came out, tried it for the first time. We started building the program, had some really good success. At the end of the season, the state hosts a statewide, open to every kid that's a resident of Georgia, youth novice championship, and then a kids open state championship. So our first year, we had 2 placers on the novice side. One placed second, made it to the finale, just fell a little short, and the other one made it to the console final and placed third. So we had some good success right out the gates. Next year, year 2, kept building on this knowledge. We had 3 novice champions. Novice champions means that they are 2 years or less experience in wrestling. And out of the entire state of Georgia, we brought home 3 champions. So we saw a lot of good success in that. And we kept pushing the program, trying to get into the baseball and the soccer community, bring me your kids, all that good stuff. Year 3 into the program, we had our first girls state placer, because we are open to boys and girls. We had our first girls state placer. We had 2 state qualifiers, meaning top 6 in the state. So again, progressing good through there. Our 4th year, we had our first 6U state placer, Mr. Tetsu Anderson right here. He was our first 6U state placer. Again, open to all the kids throughout the entire state of Georgia. He placed 4th out of all the kids in the state, which brings us into our 5th year here now. 5 years in the making, we brought home a state champion. We brought home another girls' state placer. And we brought back another back-to-back state placer. Now, when we say it's open to all the children in the state of Georgia, okay, all these children must first qualify in order to make it to the show. So all of these kids went to the qualifier, qualified, the top 16 in the state made it to the big show, and we have 4 or 5 medalers that made it out and brought back to the city of Smyrna placements or champions.
That's amazing.
As for the high school team, I started probably 8 years ago, and I'll tell anyone who will listen, we started with $195 in the budget and a wrestling mat that was in the away basketball boys locker room. We had to close up every night before Friday basketball games, and so we've come a long way. Coach Scott and Coach Sal have helped to make the program a lot stronger. Now we're regularly placing in the top 10 in the county, and I know I've got a feeder program bringing lots and lots of solid, skilled youth wrestlers to the high school program. So just kind of building overall throughout the whole wrestling community here in Smyrna.
It's amazing. Well, y'all introduce the champions.
All right, so here on my left, step to the side so they can see you. You have here my son, Elias De La Rosa. He is the 12U 100-pound champion in the state of Georgia. Come here, Tetsu, step up. Here we have Mr. Tetsu Anderson. He is the 2-time state placer, placing 4th in both 6U and 8U divisions. And as we say, wrestling is a community, it's a family. We have his older sister, come on up, Hina Anderson, who placed 3rd in the novice championship in the boys and girls division, and then she placed 4th in state in the girls division. Come on up here. I'll introduce you too. And right here, we have Mr. Connor Martin, who qualified for state, taken 1st in his qualifier, and then he qualified, went down to the big show. We didn't make the podium, but he still competed super hard, and he's a 2-time state participant.
Y'all, thanks for all you do, and to all of you for representing the city of Smyrna so well. Can I come down there and get a picture with y'all?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Where do you want us, sir? Right here? All right. Come here, guys.
Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Oh, sorry.
It's a good way to start a meeting. Next, we have a special authorization dedication presentation honoring Joe Bland. This is the Joseph M. Bland Senior Flagpole at the Wolf Center. And Joe was a over 50-year resident of the city, and he did more things than I can list. He was a great neighbor, a great friend to the city of Smyrna, and did a whole lot for his community in a lot of different ways for many, many years. And Councilmember Lindley has the presentation he's going to read, and then we'll come down, and Janet is here to receive. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution authorizing the dedication of the flagpole at the Aileen Wolf Adult Recreation Center as the Joseph M. Bland Senior Flagpole. The resolution reads, whereas Joseph M. Bland Sr. was born in Madison, North Carolina, and grew up with a heart for service, and whereas, following graduation, Joe enlisted in the U.S. Navy, where he served on an anti-submarine patrol squadron flying PTVS. One of the many notable accomplishments of Joe's squadron was flying surveillance out of Puerto Rico during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And whereas, following his military service, Joe attended college at the University of North Carolina, Gastonia, graduating with an applied science degree in electronic engineering. And whereas Joe relocated to Atlanta when he accepted an offer to work with IBM, where he enjoyed a 30-year career before retiring in 1994. And whereas Joe and his family moved to Smyrna in 1967, where he began many years of service to the community, including service as president of the Smyrna JCs, joining the Smyrna Athletic Association, and serving as the worshipful master at the Oakdale Masonic Lodge. And whereas Joe was appointed Lieutenant Colonel, aide de camp, governor's staff by Governor Joe Frank Harris in 1983. And whereas Joe was a member of the American Legion Post 160, the Smyrna Veterans Association, the Scottish Rite and Shrine, he joined the Jonquil City Kiwanis Club in 2000, where he served as president for 2 years, and presented the George Hickson Fellowship Award in 2013. And whereas Joe received the Mr. Smyrna Award from the Georgia House of Representatives and the Smyrna Oakdale Moose Lodge in 2002, Board Member of the Year for the Blind and Low Vision of North Georgia in 2007, and in 2010 he received the Community Leader of the Year Award from the Senior Citizen Council of Cobb County. And whereas Joe's longest serving service was as the mayor's appointee to the Smyrna Housing Authority. He was appointed in 2000, and in 2003 was elected to serve as chairman and in that position until he held in 2021. Whereas Joseph M. Bland Sr. passed away on July 12, 2022 at the age of 82. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Smyrna, Georgia, in honor of Joseph M. Bland Sr.'s contributions to the city, hereby dedicates the flagpole at the Aileen Wolf Adult Recreation Center as the Joseph M. Bland Sr. flagpole. And on a personal note, as the mayor noted, I would imagine everybody up here probably has a Joe Bland story. I would note he was a fixture and a pillar in our community, as well at his longtime church. I know that's where I first met him at First Methodist Church, and have a very long relationship with Ms. Bland as well. And he has been truly missed since. It took me a while to get over not getting the weekly call where it simply started, "Travis Lindley, what do you know?" And that was Joe Bland. But with that, very proud to see the flagpole named in his honor. I know that was one of his many priorities in our community. So with that, Mr. Mayor.
Invite Ms. Janet up. Anything you'd like to say?
I do. I made a couple notes just so I could keep it all together. When the city was developing this complex, we live on Bank Street right down here by the complex, and we remodeled our house. Joe and I decided at that time it was time to get married. We had dated for 13 years. Joe wasn't one to make a quick decision. And when we remodeled our house, people started moving out of Bank Street, and younger, new people moved in. And there was a lot of development down there. And Joe would go up and make a point of meeting them and introducing himself and saying, "If you need anything, just let me know." And that's when I came to recognize him as a concierge, the guy at the hotel that could help you get things done. And Joe knew how to get things done. And I think that's why he was so involved, because he could get things done. From how to smoke pork barbecue, to how to grow tomatoes for the Kiwanis, to where do I need to go vote. Joe knew where to go, where to get it done. On behalf of the family, we thank you for dedicating this and recognizing his service. Thank you.
We thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
One, two, three. And then grab your mark. One, two, three. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joel wanted to be here and said he's sick.
Yeah, Allison told me. Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to the rest of the agenda now. We have item 7 is community development items. First item is A public hearing, zoning request Z 24-002, allow rezoning from GC to O&I for a charter school, land lot 779, 6.87 acres, 2200 Lake Park Drive, Amana Academy, Inc. Mr. Bennett, any background, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Amana Academy Incorporated is requesting a rezoning from general commercial to office institutional for the ability to utilize the existing 35,460 square foot building as a charter school. The subject property is zoned general commercial and has been used as a professional office. For use as a school, a rezoning to OI is required. The Planning and Zoning Board recommend approval by a vote of 6-0 at the March 4th, 2024 meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is in Ward 1, and I'm sure Mr. Pickens is going to turn it over to Rusty.
That's correct.
Thank you. I'm Rusty Martin. I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Smyrna. This request is through Amana Academy. They're requesting to rezone subject property from GC to OI. The request went to the P&Z Board and was recommended for approval by a vote of 6-0. Amana Academy is requesting to change the zoning of the property from general commercial, which prohibits the use of the property as a school. They're requesting to change the zoning of the property to OI, which allows the proposed use. As you can see in this zoning map, the blue on the left-hand side of the map is OI, and then the red color throughout the map is GC. So it is contiguous to OI zoning. The future land use for the property will not change. It'll remain office professional, as well as the area surrounding has the same future land use designation. This is a survey of the property. They're proposing to use the existing building. They will renovate the interior of the building over the next year. They will use, I'll go through this here. They'll go through the site. The existing building is a 2-story building, 35,000 square feet. There's 179 parking spaces on site. The school is proposing to start off with K through 4 grades with approximately 200 students. And then their hope over the next 5 years is to get to K through 8, adding an additional grade as every year goes on. They have 3 modular classrooms proposed to the site. So over this next year, they'll operate out of those 3 modular classrooms as they renovate the existing building. And then once the existing building is up and fully occupiable, they'll transition over into the existing building. The front setbacks for the development and the side and rear setbacks will all remain the same. They are going to also do an internal circulation improvement on the property to allow for drop-off and pickup through the property. And then with this request, there's going to be a change from the existing access drive, which is a full access drive, which is 1 entrance and 1 exit lane, and that'll change to 2 exit lanes, 1 entrance lane, and a small decel lane. There are no variances that are required for this request. And to give you a little better idea of the access improvements along Lake Park Drive, this configuration is showing you the decel lane as well as the 2 exit lanes and the 1 entrance lane. And with this request, as part of their traffic analysis, they will also have an off-duty police officer that will manage ingress and egress from the property during drop-off and pickup in the morning and in the afternoon. These are the proposed building elevations and picture of the subject property as it stands today. And then some surrounding properties. Community Development is recommending approval of the rezoning from GC to OI for use as a charter school. Standard conditions from Section 1201 apply related to stormwater management, utilities, traffic improvement, street lighting, tree ordinances, and landscape design. In addition to those standard conditions, there's some special conditions. Number 10 deals with the setbacks. Number 11 allows for the modular classrooms for a 2-year period. After that, they'll have to come back and get approval to continue the use of those classrooms. Number 12 requires them to meet all fire access requirements. 13 requires water and sewer improvements. And then 14 requires them to meet stormwater management for the site. 15 is a requirement for the internal circulation improvement, that little additional drive area. And then 16 is for the police officer to direct traffic during the drop-off and pickup. And then finally, 17 is for the installation of a deceleration lane, and that has to be installed by December 31st, 2025. 18 ties the approval of zoning to the site plan submitted, and 19 ties the zoning of the approval to the elevations submitted. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions for you.
Any questions? Rusty?
I have a simple question. Rusty, for the first couple of years, are all the classes going to be in the modular buildings?
They will transition that's probably going to be better answered by the applicant, but they will transition as they improve the space and they can start occupying it.
Ms. Hines?
And Rusty, and so I understand that you guys at least did some type of a traffic analysis of that area, because Lake Park Drive is kind of a busy area already, right? And it's the recommendation of having that decel lane?
Yes. So they did a traffic analysis of the area in a no-build scenario versus a build scenario with out to a 5-year period, in addition with the additional growth that's usually expected over that period. And through that analysis came recommendations for improvements to the area to be able to serve the area and not change the level of service on Lake Park Drive. And as part of that, the improvements have been included into the site plan that you see today.
And that thought process is as if it was fully staffed, if it was fully, all of the students were there at 600 capacity.
Yeah, it studied it over a 5-year period, so they would get to their full enrollment by that point.
Okay,
So,
but the decel lane will be in next year, even if they're not up to that capacity, just contemplating it.
yeah, the threshold is 200 turns in. So they're at 200 students this year, so probably by the end of next year, they're going to exceed that. So it'll be in by the time they exceed that threshold.
Okay, and that'll help with traffic, and then plus you've got the police officer for safety purposes.
For access, yeah, to help manage people getting in and out. Yeah.
Okay, and the police officer aspect is a part of the agreement in itself, like that is a requirement, is that correct?
It is a recommendation from staff to require the police officer to operate based on the traffic analysis as well. So if they operate and they're using the police officer, everything's fine. If they don't, then it's violation of zoning and now become an enforcement issue for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Rusty? Mr. Oglesby?
Yes. Rusty, yeah, so it was mentioned, excuse me, that they will have school buses. So how does that fit into the flow of traffic, and do we know how many buses they'll have? And
I'll leave that up
Is
to them when they come up, and
Oh, okay,
they can answer that question for
Thank
you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite the applicant up. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Andre Washington, attorney from Cleveland and Horace Council. Honored to be here on behalf of the applicant, Amana Academy. Amana Academy, as has been mentioned, is a public charter school founded in 2005 and is now expanding. Amana Academy services at this particular location, Amana West, K through 4, diverse cross-section of socioeconomic status, perspectives, backgrounds of students who are high-performing, high-accomplishing scholars. This school is a type of school that you want to have in your community to add to the intellectual and cultural fabric of Smyrna, and it fits right in. So to that end, I want to address a couple of the questions that have been asked here. To your point, Councilman Oglesby, it's one school bus, and that school bus will follow the traffic circulation route. As has been mentioned, we will enhance the property. It will allow for 43 cars to stack on top of each other, not to include the decel lane. So to Councilwoman Hines' question, again, that traffic study was prospective towards 5 years out, and our goal here, again, is to fit within the Lake Park Drive flow of traffic. Don't want to beat a dead horse. I think the staff has done a great job. And to that end, I want to make it a particular point to thank Rusty and Joe and the rest of the team here. You guys have done a phenomenal job of working with us and being patient with this public charter school, navigating the throes of rezoning, which is usually reserved to more complicated developers who are familiar with the process. And we also want to thank the mayor and Councilwoman Hines, Councilmember Pickens for meeting with the applicant and helping us understand this process. You truly have made this place a home for this school for many years to come. And we have some representatives from the school, a student, the principal, and some members of the board. So on behalf of Amana Academy, we want to say thank you for welcoming us into your community, and we hope to be part of this community for years to come. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
First, we appreciate you saying good things about our staff, and we agree. They're some of the best around. We appreciate you and y'all patience with us as we worked out the decel lane, and I know that this was on the agenda a couple weeks ago, so appreciate y'all taking the time to iron out any of the wrinkles, and we're excited for you. Any questions, the applicant? Mr. Gould.
Just one, number one, thanks for coming to the city of Smyrna, right? More school choice and quality schools that benefits all of us. But where does the school move from? Can you just a little more history about it?
Sure. So Amana Academy has a northern location in Alpharetta, and then they have one that's in Cobb County at another location. And this school will transfer for the Amana West to that school to this location as a permanent location, stable. And as is noted, this building is currently a corporate headquarters, but it would be conducive for our future growth. So it's located in the Amana West. Currently is located in a portion of Cobb County, unincorporated Cobb County.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pickens.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank the applicant for their time and just being willing to work through the issues with the deceleration lane with staff earlier last week. And I think Latonia and I can both say that we were both very impressed when we met with the team earlier this year. Excited to have you all in Smyrna, and glad you chose Smyrna as well. So I'll make a motion to approve 7A Z24-002.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gould, I think, beat you to it. All those in favor, please vote. That's approved 7-0. Welcome to Smyrna. Awesome. Oh, did I not do, we didn't have anybody signed up. Did I need to do that? Let me ask a question. As a procedural, there was only one person signed up to speak. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this item? I didn't see anybody else signed up, so I missed that. Thank you, City Attorney, for keeping me. All right, so we'll close that portion, and welcome to Smyrna. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. It's going to be a great addition. All right. Item 8 is privileged license and show cause hearings. We do have one, license 2024-009, Privilege license request, beer, wine, and liquor, pouring and Sunday sales, 2590 Spring Road, Southeast Smyrna, Georgia, 30080. B&G Trade LLC, doing business as Biryani and Grill, with Purushottam Katati as
Kukati.
agent? Was that pretty
Kukati.
good?
Yes.
Decent? Okay, I'll take it.
Good evening, Mayor and members. And this place is there from past 5 years. We are serving nice food, grill, and now we are trying to also serve liquor, beer, wine, and we have a bar sitting there from past 5 years. We did not apply for license, so now I'm taking over and trying to get the license and serve food and liquor there. Yeah.
This is in Ward 1. Mr. Pickens, any questions?
Thanks, Mayor. So thank you for doing business in Smyrna. And from my understanding, you've taken all of the requirements that you need to get this license?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. 5 years in business. That location had a lot of different things for a long time, so you're doing something right. We
Yes.
appreciate you being here. Any questions, council? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve 8A license 2024-009.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hines. All those in favor, please vote.
It's easier to use your hand.
As we're waiting on Travis. Our new system is still working out some kinks, I think. So he voted in the affirmative and everybody else voted correct? It's approved 7-0? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thank you.
Look forward to coming to see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't show. I thought it said 7. Okay. Do you need a minute to get things online here? Okay. We'll continue on then with formal business. Item 9A, Agreement 2024-011, authorization to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Austell, Georgia, and the City of Smyrna, Georgia, for the purpose of data entry into the Georgia Criminal Justice Information System, CJIS, and have the mayor sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Austell, Georgia has requested that the City of Smyrna begin the data entry functions that occur within the Georgia Criminal Justice Information System on behalf of the City of Austell, Georgia. Said entry functions to begin on March 25th, 2024, and continue until January 1st, 2026, unless the agreement is terminated by means stated within the intergovernmental agreement. The City of Austell, Georgia has agreed to pay the City of Smyrna the sum of $45,000 per year for the first 2 years of the agreement and $50,000 per year thereafter. The Police Department recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Do we have similar agreements with other cities?
Yes, sir, we have a similar agreement with Powder Springs.
With Powder Springs, okay. Any discussion? I'll take a motion. Motion to approve by Mr. Lindley,
Second.
second by Ms. Hines. All those in favor, please vote. Ms. Wilkinson doesn't have a prompt now. How do you vote, Ms. Wilkinson? And that's approved, 7-0. Thank you.
I don't know, technology.
We'll get this yet. So you don't get any prompts at all right now?
I'm getting it now.
You're getting it now? Okay, good. Item B, authorization to approve beautification Phase 1 and Phase 2 landscape improvements provided by Russell Landscape LLC to various city-owned properties to be funded by the 2022 SPLOST Sidewalks, Trails, Greenways, and Beautification Project, an amount not to exceed $679,677, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. This is a request for authorization to approve the following to be paid out of 2022 SPLOST Sidewalks, Trails, Greenways, beautification line item. The current overage amount of beautification in an amount not to exceed $60,193. After contract execution, we identified additional items that need to be added to our existing Russell Landscape contract. That will add approximately $60,193 to the previously approved contract. Also a request to pay $292,654 initial cost of the Phase 1 landscape improvements that have been completed for Market Village, City Hall, Library, Community Center, Wolf Center, and the Police Department. We had previously amended the contract to add these additional areas into the annual contract and made a budget amendment to the general fund, the Facilities Departmental budget, to cover these improvements. We are reversing that budget amendment in another agenda item to decrease the departmental budget since we are asking to utilize 2022 SPLOST project funds. Also requesting to move forward with a Phase 2 request for fire stations 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The police department side, the road frontage of the police department, raised gardens, City Hall back, and library back areas at a cost not to exceed $326,830. These are all one-time requests to be paid from 2022 SPLOST. The general ongoing maintenance will be added to the building and grounds operational budget. Staff recommends authorization to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett, and thank you to you and our finance staff for making sure that we dot all our i's and cross all our t's and make sure we're doing everything the way we need to do it. Any discussion on this item? May I have a motion? So moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Welch. All those in favor, please vote. And it looks like it worked. That's approved 7-0. And I don't know about y'all, but Russell Landscape seems to be doing a great job for us. Everything looks really, really good around the city. We'll move on to item C, authorization to amend the fiscal year 2024 general fund budget to reduce the departmental budget for facilities, purchase lawn care line item budget in the amount of $292,653.50. Mr. Bennett, background.
Yes, sir. On the August 7th, 2023 agenda, council approved a budget amendment to increase the facilities departmental budget to enhance the landscape in several areas of the city that were 30-plus years old. This amendment was to have these landscapes be more in line with upgrades to the other areas around the downtown and with a well-needed upgrade on beautification. This amendment utilized general fund reserve balances to fund the increase to the facilities budget. During a committee of the whole discussion on March 7th, 2024, staff discussed using the 2022 SPLOST line item for sidewalks, trails, greenways, beautification to address these earlier concerns about landscape and make other needed improvements in the downtown. We need to reverse the previous budget amendment approved by council and put those funds back into the general fund reserves.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion or questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Oglesby, second by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. Moving on to item D, authorization to amend and increase the adopted budget in the ARPA fund in the amount of $10,000 for the Fleet Shop awning project due to material cost increases to be funded out of ARPA. And my understanding is anytime we make an amendment or an adjustment to the ARPA funding, we need to bring it before council. Is that?
That is correct.
All right, for the new Fleet Shop awning. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, may I have a motion? Motion to approve by Mr. Welch, second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. Item E, authorization for payment to Cobb County Department of Transportation, 1890 County Services Parkway, Marietta, Georgia 30008, in support of agreement 2023-015 for the county to administer the preliminary engineering phase of the South Cobb Improvement Project in the amount of $1,068,725 to be billed monthly as incurred. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. The city entered into a framework agreement with Cobb County DOT to administer the plan development process for the South Cobb Improvement Project until such time as Smyrna attains its locally administered project certification. In this agreement, Exhibit C specifies the value of the administrative oversight and concept phase tasks in the amount of $67,250 and $1,001,475 respectively. This authorization will enable the city to fund the county for this effort and pay periodic billing statements. The funds are part of the 2022 SPLOST project list.
So with our previous staff departure, so went that certification. And so our staff is underway getting that certification again, and when they do, we'll take it back over.
That's correct.
That's correct, okay. Any discussion on this item? This is exciting about the South Cobb Drive project that is getting underway. No discussion, I'll take a motion. Motion to do pass by Mr. Lindley, second by Ms. Wilkinson. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. And just for an update, I think of that $30 million project, we are, of state, local funding, ARPA funding, and SPLOST funds, we're over 20 million of that 30 million, so well on our way. We'll move on to item F, approval to extend the public art agreement for the Fannie Williams Legacy Project with Mr. David Wilson through September 30th, 2024, and approve a revised payment schedule as requested by the artist, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The artist has requested a second amendment to the public art agreement to allow additional time to complete the Fannie Williams Legacy Project and to revise the payment schedule. The requested amended term end date is September 30th, 2024 to complete the project. Details of the revised payment schedule, along with the deliverables required to issue payments, are attached to the amendment. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is in Ward 3, but Mr. Gould has been leading this effort. You got an update for us? You want to tell us a little bit more about what's going on?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that. So we've been working hard with David Wilson and his team just to come up with a real detailed, accurate timeline, one we know that they'll be able to achieve. So we're a little bit delayed compared to where we want to be, but they are making great progress. We saw some visuals today of some sculpture work taking place, and we're excited as this process continues to move forward. So we really appreciate Ashley Yeoman's work and staff to make this happen. And we look forward to continued progress.
I appreciate your work and the work of all the talented people who've been involved in that process. So.
Yep, yeah. Councilmember Hines has been a big part of it also, and obviously the committee and a lot of other folks. So it'll be exciting when we start seeing it. So we'll see progress week by week.
Very good. Mr. Lindley, Ward 3. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hines. All those in favor, please vote. That's approved 7-0. It's our last item on formal business. This is item G, approve agreements for the sale and purchase of real estate between First Baptist Church of Smyrna, Georgia, Inc., the Downtown Smyrna Development Authority, and the City of Smyrna, Georgia, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. The city and Smyrna First Baptist Church have reached an agreement where the city, through its Downtown Development Authority, will purchase the existing church campus located on Church Street, and the church will purchase property owned by the Development Authority located at 3030, 3040, and 3050 Atlanta Road. The church plans to relocate there. This allows the city to expand its downtown and allows the church to remain in the city. Although the transaction is between the Downtown Smyrna Development Authority and First Baptist Church of Smyrna, the city has certain obligations under the contracts, including the obligation to demolish the existing structures on the Atlanta Road sites and install an electrified traffic signal to serve the new church facility on the Atlanta Road site. Staff recommends approval of this agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I want to say a special thank you to Scott Cochran for all your work, working with the church to get this right. And, we started this process last year with public input and bringing this idea to the public. It's 9 acres next to our downtown, a new home for longstanding church in our community, and a really exciting time for us as a city. So Councilmember Lindley will be leading a talented team of citizens and business owners Each council member got to appoint someone to this committee, the planning committee, and got together and chose business owners, some long time, some relatively new. So excited to see what their vision of this looks like, and looking forward to the next 18 to 24 months of public input. So, Mr. Lindley, anything you want to add?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Well said. I think it's an exciting next step for, certainly for the church, and then a tremendous opportunity for the city as we look out over the next 50 to 100 years. So monumental step and a very, very long and deliberate process. So with that, motion do pass.
Any discussion? Anybody else have anything?
Mr. Mayor, I agree. I think this is just an opportunity to set the course for the next decades, the next generation for the city. So it's really exciting. It's an exciting moment. There's a lot of work leading up to this point.
You okay over there, Ms. Hines? Okay. Need some water. Oh, yeah, I see. We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 6-1 with Ms. Wilkinson voting in the negative. Next is item 10, the consent agenda. Mr. Bennett, can you please read the consent agenda for council approval?
Yes, sir. Item A, MIN 2024-034, approval of the March 7th, 2024 Committee of the Whole minutes. Item B, MIN 2024-035, approval of the March 11th, 2024 pre-council meeting minutes. Item C, MIN 2024-036, approval of the March 11th, 2024 mayor and council minutes. Item D, ATH 2024-054, approval to reclassify Assistant Finance Director to Government 13 to Controller, Government 13, no pay grade change. Item E, ATH 2024-056, approval to remove the Deputy City Administrator and Chief Financial Officer from the classification and pay system. And item F, BCA 2024-007, approval of the mayor's appointment of Ms. Laura Zeese to the Keep Smyrna Beautiful Board to serve the current term through December 2027.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved by Mr. Lindley. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Hines. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. Next is ward and staff reports, and we'll start tonight with Mr. Ricky Oglesby.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to acknowledge Councilmember Hines for a successful inaugural Women's History Tea program that was actually this past Sunday. I got a lot of great messages about the event, and the women in Smyrna are really excited, and hopefully this grows from here. So congratulations to all that were involved.
Mr. Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to echo Councilmember Oglesby comments also. My wife attended, and just really, Latonia, you did a great job, and really appreciate you pushing forward to make that happen. So it was a great event. Secondly is the Campbell High School Education Foundation Golf Tournament is Monday, April 22nd. Come on out and play golf or sponsor a hole. Support our foundation that does great work for the Campbell High School. Thanks.
And I'll add to Latonia, my wife Laura and daughter Sam had a great time helping you put on that event, so they're looking forward to doing that again. Ms. Wilkinson.
I also want to reiterate what they're saying. I was there, and it was a very nice event, and it was nice to honor some of the women in Smyrna that have made a difference. And thank Latonia, Councilman Latonia Hines, for all her work and involvement in that, and getting it started. Thank you.
Mr. Welch.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate a group of Boy Scouts and Scouts in general, I guess, these days. But Troop 1 is not formally in the city of Smyrna, but I went to an event yesterday where they celebrated 100 years of scouting as Troop 1. And I felt like that was a tremendous result of a lot of help from a lot of people And one of the things that came out of it, I believe it was 16 years ago, they had one active scout, and now they're back up in the 40s and so forth. So it's become a success story. Congratulations to them.
Fitting to send it to our Eagle Scout on council,
you.
Travis Lindley.
Yes, I too was gonna note, council members Gould and Welch and I had the opportunity to join Scout Troop 1. We've had a lot of Smyrna Eagle Scouts out of Troop 1, so proud to get to be with them. Yesterday, they had some folks that had been in the troop in the 1950s, so it was neat to see that. It is a challenge and a very challenging era to maintain scouting of any kind, so great to see that vibrant in our community. I also want to congratulate Ms. Hines. I know it was a lot of work to pull that off yesterday, and hopefully the inaugural event will become a city event in future years. I know that's your hope, so thanks for that. And then as a reminder, Wards 6, 3, and 1 will be having a quarterly ward meeting on April 7th, so coming around the corner. Thank you.
Good. Ms. Hines.
Thank you so very much, everybody who said such positive things. And I just want to make sure that you were aware of my hostesses, which was First Lady Laura Norton and Kathy Young, who formerly on our council. And it was just a great vision. We had a Women's History Month afternoon tea, and we were able to recognize 4 women of the past, Smyrna's past: Lorena Pace Pruitt, Sarah Sintel Scott, Hattie Bell King, and Fannie Williams. And as a part of it, we were also able to recognize a woman of the present, and the person who was honored was Belisa Urbina, who is the executive director of Sur Familia, and she serves the Hispanic and Latino communities with resources that a lot of our government entities aren't able to provide, and she's just such a great asset to our community. And she started with 1 location and now has 5 locations all over Metro Atlanta, so it was very nice. We surprised her, so that was good. In the future, we had the Girl Scouts who were there, since we mentioned the Scouts, and I thank the men of council for supporting and being sponsors of the Girl Scout cookies that were presented. And just in case anybody's not aware, there are Scout troops that are in need, financial need, and the men of council made sure that their sponsorship went towards them. And so I'm greatly appreciative of that. I've drafted Council Member Susan Wilkinson to be on the committee for next year, so I'm greatly appreciative of that. And I look forward to, each year we will honor a woman of Smyrna, whether or not it is someone who lives in Smyrna or somebody who has a business but impacts this city. And I think it's something that we should do, and I'm looking forward to us doing that as a city next year. So thank you all for your support, and it's just a great thing. It was very, very empowering, and very empowering indeed.
Thank you for your leadership and all your work. Mr. Pickens.
Thanks, Mayor. As Councilmember Lindley said, that we'll have the joint town hall in this room April 7th. It was very well attended earlier this year, so I'm looking forward to the next one.
Very good. The only thing I wanted to add was we had the glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt the other night, and was super well attended on the new green space, and look forward to all that Parks and Rec is doing and all their programming coming up. Really exciting stuff. With that, we will end the ward and staff reports. Do you have anything, Mr. Bennett? No. Mr. Cochran? Ms. Heather? Nothing? Okay. We'll move on to public comment. We have one person signed up to speak this evening, Ken Himes, 151 Ennisbrook Drive.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to see you all again. My name is Ken Himes. I live at 151 Ennisbrook Drive here in Smyrna. First, I want to wish everybody happy spring. I know we're happy for the season changes, but not so happy about the pollen. I'm suffering right now, so please bear with me. Back in December, I spoke with you all regarding some of the community concerns that were raised during the election campaign cycle. You may remember some of those items being the resolution of the train noise nuisance at Argyle Estates, the Poplar Creek overflowing and flooding, arts funding support, housing incentives for city employees, et cetera. These were some critical areas that the citizens have said, hey, please help us. We continue to raise these concerns today with you so they can be addressed in a timely fashion. To date, I'm not aware of much progress on any of these items, and if there is progress, it probably has not been communicated very well. So clearly we still have a transparency and communication issue that we need to work on here, where expectations are just not being met. More generally, the community has not received any substantive updates on the Windy Hill Corridor project, the brewery, the First Baptist Church purchase, which we just got a small update on this evening, as well as the South Cobb Improvement Project or the Aquatic Center. And I will add to that, furthermore, we don't have any clarity around our financial positions on any of these projects. All one has to do is peruse your Nextdoor or Facebook, and you'll understand some of the frustration citizens are feeling around this issue. I don't understand how you as elected officials, some of you, who serve at the pleasure of the citizens, continually fail at this fundamental responsibility. So with that, I sincerely ask the mayor and the council to begin to communicate clearly and regularly with the citizens on all these key projects and project needs. It's odd that we seem to have no problem communicating about sanitation pickup dates, Easter egg hunts, city celebrations, but yet we can't communicate on these key issues, and that's just very odd and strange to me. If we were to provide you a grade as a corporation, I think right now the assessment would be a strong needs improvement. So let's focus on that. Lastly, as I close, I want to say we want to believe in our elected officials and your intentions, and we want you to succeed, because if you succeed, we succeed as a community. But predictably, we hear claims from the mayor that he and the council are committed to the best interests of Smyrna. Well, that's fine talk, but it's time to stop talking the talk and walking that walk. So please, look at these issues, make them priorities, show us, tell us, and once you deliver, the community as a whole will all celebrate those victories. Thank you so much, and happy Easter to each of you. Good evening.
Mr. Mayor, just one comment. I'm pretty sure any email I get asking for information about any of the subjects that the speaker just brought up, we respond back. Personally, I respond back pretty quickly, pull staff into the conversation. One thing is certainly true. My forum for communication is not Facebook or Nextdoor. So if there is an opportunity for dialogue, I'm sure if a resident in my ward reaches out to me, I will answer, and I push out information any chance I get. So to say that we're failing is noteworthy.
Mr. Mayor, I would agree. Mr. Himes, there's a pattern. You come once every quarter and rattle off a list that was your campaign discussion that goes back to August when you appeared on the scene with no tie to the community at all. And there have been town hall meetings this year that you were not at. I would note you might want to get with your council member if you want her to have a town hall meeting, but there have been several this year. And the issues that you rattled off all have been addressed since the first of the year, and they were addressed as they have come up over the last many years. And I think it's frankly shameful and embarrassing. It should be. Most people would have some humility than to show up every meeting and speak against a city that is moving forward. And I would simply state the proof is in the pudding. You want to talk about walking the walk? Sir, leadership is owning when things are moving in the right direction. And I would submit that in November of last year, the citizens of this city sent a strong message. I don't know if you missed it. We did not. And I don't appreciate you coming every time that you speak and impugning everybody involved. When you sat here this evening alone and heard from people in the community, you don't have to listen to the elected officials. What you heard was from people in the community that have stated what I just said, which is the city is moving forward in a positive and sound direction. So I don't know how you get up at a podium and they're all wrong too. It's interesting.
I would just say one thing, and I give you, Mr. Himes, a benefit of the doubt. When one hasn't served in a position, it makes it very easy to be able to see things and want them to be a certain way. I mean, I've been in public service for over 20 years, and it wasn't until I actually served in this space that I realized and understood what it takes to actually run a city and the sacrifices that each and every person on this dais has to make to be able to serve every person here. Whether or not it's missing your children's games, or for my own sake, when my sister was in the hospital and ultimately died, trying to still make it to a meeting so you could vote on the things that are important for all the citizens here in this city. So I understand that it seems like it should be very easy for us to address everything. We do all that we can. And I answered, even after my sister passed away, I still was answering emails to make sure that people knew that I got their email. So those are things that we may not telegraph to the world, but we know, and I think much to what Mr. Lindley stated, the citizens who voted felt that we were doing a good job because every person here is still here. So we will continue to do the work, and we welcome and thank you for your comments, and we will continue to do the work that the citizens want done. Thank you.
Mr. Oglesby?
Yes, so first of all, I want to thank you for coming up and expressing your concerns. I've heard these before in the past. I would encourage you to look at our public record, our meeting notes. All that stuff is here available to you. Everything you've ran off, we've discussed in depth since I've been sworn in. So this is after December. So we are addressing these things. We are listening. We have a great city staff that's working on some of these things that are ongoing. So I encourage you to first, before you come up here, to make sure you check in public record. It's important. We care. That's why we're sitting in these seats today. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, that ends our public comment. If there's no other business to be brought before this body, we're adjourned at 8:04. Thank you.